Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is episode number 7 of the Globalisation revision series over here on my channel. Today we're going to be looking at global interconnections and all that entails. Urbanization, what am I talking about? Urbanization, rapid population growth, that kind of thing, environmental issues, social issues, all that kind of jazz. Please do subscribe down below if you like this kind of content. I upload these every single week, Monday 4:30 p.m. and I'm going to be going through the whole specification of the Edexcel one, and I'm guessing there's a lot of overlap with the other like A-level specifications. But yeah, let's just get straight on into this. Please do subscribe down below, share this with a friend if you think it'll be useful, share it with your class teacher. The more people that can see this, the better. It's here to help you. It's exactly what I wanted while I was doing my A-levels and I didn't have it, so I'm making it for you guys and I hope you enjoy. But I'm gonna shut up, stop rambling on and get straight on into this. Global interconnections. It's an urban world. In 2008 the world reached a new milestone. Over half the population lived in urban settlements of over 10,000 people. By 2050, an extra 3 billion people are expected to be living in urban areas. As a result, the number of million cities with populations over 1 million and megacities with populations over 10 million are also growing rapidly. This picture shows the most important cities in the global network. These world cities represent hubs in the global economy, where political and economic decisions are made, where most investment takes place. Hub cities attract flows of economic migrants as well as of capital. They are the best connected cities, and their international airports provide gateways to the rest of the country as well as to secondary cities. Hyper-urbanization in New Delhi. New Delhi is experiencing hyper-urbanization. Its rapid population growth is outstripping the ability for authorities to provide for basic needs, such as sanitation. As India's fastest growing city, it's predicted to grow by 40% between 2010 and 2020. The main causes of this rapid population growth are the high birth rate and low death rate, which together produce a high rate of natural increase, and it is one of the world's fastest rates of rural to urban migration. Every year, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people leave rural areas and move to urban areas to live, particularly large cities. These rural migrants consist of the rural poor, who lack opportunities in their village and who hope for a better future in the city, and the rural rich, who move to cities to invest in urban property and provide better education and standard of living for their families. We're about to explain some of the factors that pull people to cities as well as the factors that push people away from rural areas. Some key background factors. In New Delhi's case, increased foreign direct investment, FDI, has increased many new jobs, with its financial district in particular becoming a global finance hub, persuading TNCs like Coca-Cola and Microsoft to base their Indian operations there. However, many of New Delhi's recently arrived rural migrants end up living in slums and struggling to find work. Many live on the city edge and travel for work. City girls are vulnerable to assault on public transport routes and few can afford the modern metro. So one of the rural push factors may be rural poverty, drought and flooding, lack of services, lack of investment, lack of opportunities and low pay, whereas the urban pull factors, better housing, better jobs, better opportunities, better quality of life, better services such as education, health and entertainment. Social challenges caused by rapid growth. Unfortunately, size is not always good news. Today, half of the world's urban dwellers live in poverty. Many countries such as India have persuaded TNCs to invest there by offering them low tax rates. So the reduced revenue received by the government is unable to pay for badly needed infrastructure, such as piped water supplies. Rapid economic growth may provide a range of new jobs, but it also creates a number of social challenges. It challenges governments to provide services and basic needs such as housing and education. In most countries, private companies are more likely than governments to provide housing, water, healthcare, energy and sanitation systems to meet demand from growing urban populations. More often than not, such companies will target high earners first, so the wealthier areas of cities will have piped safe water, while poorer areas won't. Sprawling shantytowns are the product of uncontrolled urban growth and are common in most cities in low and middle income countries. Even in wealthier cities such as London, the number of homeless people rises as accommodation becomes more unaffordable. Environmental challenges caused by urban growth. The World Health Organization, who surveyed 1,600 cities worldwide for air quality, they measured particulates. Particles created by diesel emissions, domestic stoves, forest fires and coal-burning industries. New Delhi was judged the worst, with 153 micrograms of particulates per cubic metre. By contrast, London was 2,516th, with 16 micrograms. New Delhi's growing population and prosperity is predicted to increase the number of vehicles on its streets from 4.7 million in 2010 to 26 million in 2025. The air pollution is India's 5th largest killer, causing respiratory and cardiac problems. This added to other environmental problems such as sewage, chemical dumping from factories and fuel spillages from poorly maintained vehicles. International migration. Globalisation has meant that many people now move around the world more freely. Such movements increase interdependence between regions. For example, in 2014, the flow of people around the world as migrants rather than holidaymakers or on business trips resulted in 231.6 million migrations. These migrations involve travel from the global south, the developing world, to the north, the developed world, and vice versa, as well as travel within these regions. London, a destination for elite migrants. London's position as a major world city has arisen from its knowledge economy. Flows of skilled and wealthy migrants, experts in finance and investment known as elite migrants, have moved there. London is now a global property hotspot, and in 2013 the Financial Times reported that foreign buyers were involved in 82% of property deals in central London. Overseas buyers, particularly from Qatar and Russia, have invested in a number of landmark London properties. Qatari investments brought the Shard, Canary Wharf, Harrods, Stratford's East Village, formerly the 2012 Olympic Village, and the One Hyde Park development. A third of all foreign investment of residential property in London between 2004 and 2014 went to Russians. Unfortunately, this high demand has led to property price inflation, and much of London housing has now become too expensive for native Londoners. As of 2011, one apartment in the One Hyde Park development became London's most expensive at £136 million, when it was sold to a Ukrainian oligarch. Low-wage migrants. By contrast, some locations, such as the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, have benefited from flows of cheap labour. The UAE, population of 9 million, and Qatar, 2 million, both have labour shortages because of their small populations, so they recruit many manual labourers from overseas. Migrant workers make up 90% of the UAE's workforce, including 1.75 million Indians and 1.25 million Pakistanis. The entry visas are tied to particular jobs, so there was always a risk of being deported when the contract ends. Movements on this scale are referred to as mass low-wage economic migrants. In both countries, low-wage migrants, often working for $4 a day, have led to the rapid building of infrastructure for high-end international tourism and services, as these oil-rich emirates seek to diversify their economies and the migrants themselves escape poverty at home. In 2014, there were 1.4 million migrants working in construction in Qatar. 400,000 of them were from Nepal. Many of these migrants were working on the new football stadiums and other facilities for the 2022 World Cup. Workplace accidents on these sites are common, and The Guardian reported in 2014 that 964 workers from Nepal, India and Bangladesh had died on work-related incidents in Qatar in 2012 and 2013. The costs and benefits of migration. Voluntary international migrations, as opposed to forced migrations as a result of the Syrian crisis, for example, are mostly economic. Their host locations gain because new migrants fill gaps in their labour markets. However, the source locations lose because young, skilled workers are lost from their own workforces, so their economies suffer. We're about to summarise the gains and losses for each location. Despite public perceptions, highly educated and professional people are more likely to migrate because they're most able to seek job opportunities overseas and can fill urgent skill shortages, such as nurses and doctors. The host location receives foreign skilled workers, fills key shortages in key areas, also gains lower skilled workers for jobs which are difficult to fill. They can sustain the growing leisure sector through gaining workers for restaurants, hotels and bars. They can sustain the lifestyle of its middle classes by gaining workers to provide childcare, cleaning and elderly care. They can also often balance the ageing population with young adults, the most common age group for migrants, particularly if they have children, increasing the birth rate. And the host location can also experience pressure on housing, healthcare and school places. The source location, therefore, experiences reduced unemployment as people emigrate to find jobs elsewhere. It loses its most skilled and dynamic workers. This is known as the brain drain. The losses occur in key areas such as healthcare, as well as those with entrepreneurial and business skills. The source location also earns remittance payments which are sent home by overseas migrants, such as Southeast Asian migrants in the UAE. They gain increased employment because the remittance payments are used to build homes or invest in local businesses. And the source location also suffers an imbalanced population because many young people migrate, leaving a dependent population, children and the elderly, who may face managing farms and businesses on their own. However, migration is very much political as well as an economic and social issue. In 2015, there was a massive increase in the number of illegal migrants entering the EU, mostly from the Middle East and Africa. Several European countries erected steel fencing along their borders to try and control the flow. Most, especially those from Syria, were attempting to reach Germany and other countries in Northern Europe. And that is the end of episode number 7 of the Globalisation series. I hope you learned something. I hope you can take something away from this. Next week, we're going to be looking at the question of towards a global culture, globalisation, cultural erosion, cultural diffusion, that kind of thing. So come along, stay tuned, subscribe down below, 4:30 PM next Monday, and I will see you then. Bye guys, please subscribe down below and see you soon.